That a verdict is in. So many questions. People wonder if elected, could he pardon himself? Well, that only applies to federal cases, so the answer there is no. And with sentencing set for July 11th, how likely is it that Trump spends time behind bars? WLWT News 5 anchor Chris Jacobs diving in right now. Chris?
Yeah, so many questions to be answered in the coming months, but right now Trump's facing up to 4 years in prison, probation, or a fine. Tonight, for some legal guidance, we spoke with Gabe Davis. He's the former assistant district attorney in that same Manhattan office and now works out of Cincinnati. He shared his thoughts on a possible sentencing.
So typically for Class E felony, nonviolent offense, white collar offense with someone with no criminal history, it would not be unusual for there to be no prison sentence in the case. So it would not shock me if you were sentenced to something like probation or something other than a term of incarceration.
Well, even though jail time is on the table, Trump is expected to appeal the jury's decision. Any jail or prison sentence likely won't take effect until after his appeal plays out. That'd be pushing it past the November election. His first appeal will be to the state appellate division. That's a mid-level appeals court. Now, if he loses there, he could then appeal to the state's highest court, the Court of Appeals, and a loss there would be followed by a request to the U.S. Supreme Court.
Almost certainly there'll be a notice of appeal that would be filed, I believe, within 30 days. Then there's a certain period of time once the sentence is imposed when you have to file that appeal. So I expect that will happen in this case. There were a couple of issues that did come up during the course of the trial where there were certain objections made about evidence. I think at one point the judge even pointed out that the defense could have made objections that the defense did not make about certain testimony from Stormy Daniels, for instance. Certainly there was a fight about the jury instructions. So these are all sort of fertile grounds for an appeal.
Yeah, still so many steps to go through, but an interesting element to this case, according to Davis, if Trump eventually goes to prison, because of federal law, he would likely be given a Secret Service detail while behind bars. Now, again, this sentencing hearing is set for July 11th. Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg did not say what type of sentence he would recommend for Trump. Chris Jacobs, WLWT News 5.